report this afternoon. And much later on the program, Ghana Gas Company complete repair works on 40 plants that triggered power outages in parts of the country early this week. Very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, together with freight forwarders and other business groups, have suspended their boycott action after reaching some agreements with the government. This follows a meeting between the Joint Business Forum and government officials on Thursday, the 16th of April. The Coalition of Traders and Freight Forwarders Associations this week declared a 4-day boycott of activities at the port and other broader entry points following concerns over the deployment of a new artificial intelligence-led customs valuation platform known as the Publican AI system. At an emergency meeting with officials of the Ministry of Finance, Ghana Revenue Authority, Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, among others, the business community raised concerns about the Publican AI system and how it is affecting valuation and trade processes at the port. They made 4 key demands, including suspending the AI system, restoring the old appeals process for disputed valuations within 24 hours, a full disclosure of how the system works, and a clear terms for a proposed multi-party committee. The government made some concessions but rejected calls to suspend the Publican AI system. It also declined to fully disclose the system's technical and contractual details, but says stakeholders will be allowed to engage its operators. Both sides are expected to meet again on Monday, the 20th of April, to agree on the structure of the multi-party committee. Let's speak to Michael Obreje. He's convener for concerned exporters, importers, traders, and freight forwarders. He joins us live on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Hello, Mr. Obreje. Hello. Okay, looks like we have a problem with that line. And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Let's hope that we're able to get through to Mr. Obreje. Good afternoon to you, sir. I hope you can hear us. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. I can hear you. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. You sat through the meeting, and indeed, after you've suspended the boycott, what specific concessions from government convinced you to take this very step?
Okay, so I must, but first of all, good afternoon to your cherished listeners and to members of the business community. I must say that our decision to suspend was more about us acting in good faith with the government because, as you rightly mentioned, we had 4 things that we had tabled before the government. The key amongst them was the suspension of the Publican AI to give way for the committee that they were setting up so that when we join the multi-party technical committee, we can make some inputs into the program and put it within a framework that works for everybody. However, for the suspension of the Publican AI policy, the government didn't. But the reason why we decided to suspend or to put on hold the strike action for some reasons. One, because we've agreed to revert back to the old appeal system. So between now, we know that when issues come up, we can resolve the issues that would come hopefully within the period of 24 hours and you're done with the appeals. Also, that they have increased the number of officers who are dealing with appeals from 6 to 12 and within the 24 hours. When it came to the access full disclosure, they mentioned that they would let leadership see the workings, how it picks data and all of those things. They would let us see the system. But it is the other issues of full disclosure like contractual, because we want to know who's paying for this system. Does it come at a cost? Because that would inform the kind of thinking you would have around it, whether that kind of cost burden that it comes with would influence the kind of duties that you're given, among others. And so really we decided to put on hold the strike action so that we can give room for the multi-party technical committee to have its first meeting, and the consequence of that meeting would determine what further actions we take.
It seems obvious that the committee's meeting and the resolution of the challenges you've had is a priority to members of this team, right?
It is.
But again, as you rightly said, the government did not accept the proposal from you to suspend the Publican AI. How much of a big deal is it to traders like yourself at the port?
It's very much of a big deal. I think it was the crust of the foundation of our request. But like I've also indicated, that as traders, we're acting in good faith. We do not set out to thwart government policy. And we have also indicated that the idea of technology is not just what we're against. We're against this kind of deployment and the way it was done. So if the technical committee, when it meets, can make some inputs and correct the anomalies, we are in for it. At the end of the day, we're just making sure that there's parity and there's equity in the kind of duties that we pay. There's predictability, there's operational certainty, and we are working within a legal framework that is acceptable. And so for us, yes, is a huge issue, and we still insist that while we are acting in good faith, we hope that government rescinds this decision and allow the committee to work fully, because the issues are widespread. 2 days ago, you would have noticed that the Chamber of Cement Producers have released a notice, and in their notice or in their petition, they are saying that clinker, which is a key component of the production of cement, the FOB price, which used to be $40, has now moved from $40 to $136. That is what the government is using to now calculate their duty. The one granulite or so, which is used as also a component to make cement, has moved, its FOB price have moved from $3 on the system to about $40. This generally creates a problem for everybody. And so we are still urging on the government to withdraw the Publican AI while we act in good faith to come to the committee.
But how confident are you regarding the restored appeals process and the 24-hour timeline that indeed this will deal with the challenges you've raised before the government team?
So we want to take the government's word for it. It has given its word. We want to take its word for it. We do not start operating from a point of mischief or a point of suspicion of mischief unless we are given reason to. And so government has given its word. We are going to allow the government to act, and based on that, what we see from the actions, we can make determinations.
Now, what should traders and public expect if the upcoming talks on Monday, the 20th of April, do not yield the kind of results you are looking forward to?
If it doesn't yield the kind of results we're looking for, I would not be able to sit here and say what the line of action is, but I can tell you that we are going to take a rational decision as business people to protect, one, the economic interest of our business, and two, the Ghanaian public in general.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fereje, for speaking to us. Obrieje.
Yeah, the name is Obrieje.
Yes, Obrieje. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Welcome.
And you had the Michael Obrieje. He's the convener for concerned exporters, importers, traders, and freight forwarders. And let's speak to my colleague Joseph Armstrong Gold Alobi, who just returned from the Tema port. Well, he's actually joining us on the phone. Armstrong, what more can you tell us as regards what you saw there beyond this meeting that we just had a conversation on?
Yeah, so Beatrice currently here at the long room in Tema, where you see many of the freight forwarders going about their regular duties. They are paying their duties as usual. You know, on Tuesday we were here, they were not paying duties due to the boycotts of what they describe as the Republican AI not serving their purpose. So as it stands right now, the strike has been suspended, and the freight forwarders have to resume work as it is.
All right, thank you very much. But how are people reacting to the resumption of work, though, before you go?
So currently, if you go to the banks, you see they are still packed again with the freight forwarders. Their only worry is the fact that government is reluctant in listening to their plea to suspend the Republican AI, and they're hoping that hopefully by Monday, when they are to engage with the finance ministry and GRA again, the government will listen to them and then probably agree to suspend the Republican AI.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Joseph Gold Armstrong Galogbi. Thank you for joining us and bringing us the latest from there. And of course, we'll bring you updates as and when we have it. Now, the Ghana Gas Company says it has repaired the fault in one of its plants that led to power outages a few days ago due to gas supply shortages. About 2 days ago, the Buma Management System Controller for the Heat Medium System, which is a critical component of its operations, got damaged and caused an emergency shutdown. Gas supply to thermal plant was disrupted and led to intermittent electricity supply challenges in parts of the country. But that has been rectified. Our man Christian Yale will be joining us very shortly with the latest on this, but let's hear this.
Around 10 a.m. on the 14th, the burner management system, which controls the heat medium system of the plant, failed to operate, which resulted in the shutdown of the plant. We immediately informed stakeholders, and the proactive Minister for Energy summoned the stakeholders for an emergency meeting. And even prior to that emergency meeting, in-house, the technical team of the company, together with management, did a risk assessment on the alternative route on the plant, which was successful. So even before this release came on, the plant was on. But we just wanted to get optimization before we can inform the general public. So as at 8 p.m. on the 15th, the plant came back on stream, and since it's been producing, and as we speak, we are doing 115 SCAF to the power plant. And there's the simple message I want to put across: there's no cause for alarm. We have very competent technical team which put their technical brains together, and they were able to start the plant using the manual system approach. That is why we are producing. Even though management swiftly made provision for replacement of the faulty gadget, the machine is running as we speak, and the replacement is on the way to the site for fixing, so that we can come back to normalcy with the automated system.
Let's go to my colleague Christian Yale, who is monitoring this story for us. He joins us live on the phone. Chris, we just had a man. If you can tell us who he is and really whether the understanding is that now Ghanaians can enjoy full electricity supply.
Beatrice, that is Richard Kekmensa, who is the head of corporate affairs for the Ghana National Gas Company. In fact, that is the assurance he has given that now they are back to stream. And when you listen to the 150 SCAF that he's mentioning, he is basically trying to say that Ghana Gas is even producing more gas for supply to thermal plants for electricity generation. And so the anticipation is that going into next week, by Wednesday, they should be able to embark on a field visit to the western region, there about where you have the site for the equipment and plant to work on the automated system. So, Beatrice, the understanding is that after that fault by the burner management system, which resulted in the gas supply shortages, they need to get the automated system back on track. That is not done yet. What the engineers have done so far has been to use the manual system. And when you look at the statement that they issued 2 days ago, they indicated that once the fault has been developed or noticed, resulting in the shutdown of the plant, they will look at alternative routes to getting the system or the plant back on stream. So that is largely the update he has given, that even on that particular day that the notice was given in the evening around 8 p.m., they had already resolved the challenges.
So from here, would we see the automated control restored?
Yes, what he tells me is that indeed that system has been procured and is already on the way to the site for installation. So it is anticipated that the engineers would work around it within this week, even the weekend as we are entering, to get the automated system back on track. And then going into next week, they would visit the site together with a Parliament Committee on Energy and Green Transition, together with the minister, to ascertain for themselves how things are operating over there.
Thank you very much, Christian Yale, for bringing us this. And Christian Yale is my colleague following this very story, bringing you an update as in when there is any. Now, the Asokore-Mampo Municipal Assembly has announced a major crackdown on tricycle operators over widespread traffic violations. The move is aimed at restoring discipline and improving road safety within the municipality. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar filed this report for us.
While the growing presence of tricycle operations in Asokore-Mampo has improved mobility and reduced transport costs, authorities say indiscipline among some riders is becoming a major concern. Reckless speeding, dangerous overtaking, and the increasing involvement of minors in the business have become common on many roads. Following a meeting with leaders of the various tricycle unions, the Municipal Security Council has outlined new measures to regulate the activities.
Statistics put their numbers on a daily basis at around 3,000. That attests to the enormity of the kind of services that they provide for residents within the municipality and even outside the municipality. But we felt gradually they are also earning a bad reputation for themselves as people who flout road traffic rules and regulations most of the time. And so we felt we should come in, help them restore sanity, make our roads a lot more safer, and propagate their works.
Police will begin full enforcement of traffic regulations across the municipality. Foreign nationals have also been banned from operating tricycles, with offenders to be arrested and prosecuted.
The police are on high alert. The task force of the assembly are on the grounds, and so they will make sure they apprehend minors who are engaged in this trade. But as a way of also supporting the initiative, we encourage those who patronize the services of our brothers who ride the rickshaws not to patronize the services of minors who are engaged in the trade.
The National Union of Tricycle Operators Ghana has thrown its support behind the directive, particularly the decision to eliminate underage riders. Speaking at a regional capacity building conference, the Ashanti Regional Chairman Saidu Mubarak said the move will help sanitize the sector and improve professionalism among riders.
We are fully supporting the initiative Asokore-Mampo has took, and I would call for all the municipals to also replicate the same thing, because more times they only complain but there is no action. And if the assemblies are able to stand on their feet and take a bold decision to take underage riders and those who are riding reckless on our road, I believe that we will have a safer road.
Authorities are urging all operators to comply, warning that strict enforcement will be sustained to ensure safer roads across the municipality.
And my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar found that report from the Ashanti region for us. Deputy Ranking on Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Al-Hassan Tampoli, is questioning why the Attorney General has failed to authorize the OSP to allow it prosecute corruption-related cases. It follows the announcement by Deputy Attorney General that the AG's office will, in the coming days, assume prosecution in all cases currently in the possession of the Office of the Special Prosecutor in compliance with the High Court order. Reacting to the development, the Gushewu MP said the development smacks of attempts to abolish the OSP's office.
One of the planks, the few planks of the fight against corruption is the potent office of the special prosecutor. Now, the way manner that people are going or coming after the office of the special prosecutor, especially government officials, and in this particular instance, the office of the Attorney General, the way and manner that they are coming after the office, and in this case, I'm not even talking about the special prosecutor himself, the way that they want to completely obliterate the office tells me that it's a clear government agenda.
Even right down from the president?
Yeah, I think that because if the president is not happy about it, if you go to Article 58, it says that executive power is vested in the president. And the president can either choose to act directly or indirectly through subordinates of his. Any action by the executive definitely becomes the action of the president. So if the president is unhappy with what is going on, the president has to intervene. But for now, we think that it's the whole government machinery that has been unleashed against the office of the special prosecutor. And I think that also tells us about how impotent the government has become in the fight against corruption.
It was going to be my next question as to what this means about their corruption fight and that oral mandates, if I can call it a mandate, that oral claim that they are going to recover the loot, and then now the OSP is...
No, but isn't it ironic that people are working with oral? What is the legal mandate of oral? Where in the law do we know oral? Who is oral? We are working with oral, but we don't want to work with the special prosecutor. There's nothing in the law that recognizes oral. But you have given oral all the powers. And the Attorney General has reviewed the reports of oral and said that there is a lot of garbage from that report, meaning that the Attorney General is working with the report of oral. But you don't want to recognize a body that has been created by the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. And all the Attorney General is going to do is to give them the necessary fiats. And all this hula baloo will be gone. It takes just one letter, like the one Gloria Kufu did to the MP. That's it.
Lastly, on the judiciary, because today that substantive case of the Supreme Court should have been heard, but we found out that the courts gave the AG an extension in time to file processes and what have you. Should the justices have been minded of that pronouncement by the High Court judge and trying to bring about sanity, because you mentioned murkiness, and trying to bring about sanity within the judicial space by using today's hearing as an opportunity to perhaps address something?
Well, I'm thinking the Supreme Court could have, if maybe that matter had been brought before the judges who sat on the case. Maybe they would have been minded to issue consequential orders, but I'm not too sure that was an issue that had come before the Supreme Court. So maybe if the Supreme Court didn't pronounce on it, it may likely be the case that such a matter hadn't been urged on the court. But that notwithstanding, the Supreme Court can still proceed. What I thought should happen right now is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor that applied to join the action and the Supreme Court declined, the Supreme Court should have given them an opportunity to join the case and to make an argument in favor of the continuance of Office of the Special Prosecutor. What it means is that the plaintiff who is known to have association with the Deputy Attorney General, and he works in the Deputy AG's law firm, private law firm, has come before the court. And the argument of the Attorney General is that, yes, the plaintiff's arguments, we agree with him. It means that the plaintiff and defendant have become one. The adversarial system of our judicial, system has been completely undermined. The Supreme Court should have given the OSP the opportunity to come and vindicate their rights. You understand? So right now, the plaintiff and the defendant, I and my shorty, are one. That is what is happening before us.
And you had the Member of Parliament for Gushehu, Al-Hassan Tampoli, in that conversation with my colleague Mawina Egbeta. Meanwhile, Mr. Tampoli has also appealed to feuding factions in a chieftaincy dispute in the area to give peace a chance following the imposition of a curfew by the Interior Ministry. The Interior Ministry has imposed a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on 11 communities in the Gushehu district after 5 communities in the Nauhugo Tolik electoral area of the Gushehu district were set ablaze, following clashes over the enskinment of a new chief for the Yidan community. Speaking to TV3, the legislature urged the security agencies to be fair in the handling of the conflict.
For the last time, they burnt communities, and this time again, they are still burning communities. And I think that cool heads should reign. We are leading people to bring good happiness, development, and growth to them, and not to bring them in this kind of situation. So yesterday, I got a call from the Minister for Interior, who informed me that they were going to impose curfew based on what reports that they were receiving on the ground. And I also spoke with the security services, the heads of the security services on the ground, and they also gave me some briefing about what was taking place. I want to appeal to both sides of the conflicts that let's give peace a chance.
Let's give peace a chance. You had the Member of Parliament for Gushehu, Al-Hassan Tampoli, appealing to his constituent. National Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedun Katia, has advised NDC supporters to support the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives in the Ashanti region so they can spearhead developments that can help the party win more seats in the region. William Evans Income is with him. He joins us very briefly for a short conversation. William, if you can tell us in like 30 seconds, we've run out of time, what more Mr. Asiedun Katia has been saying.
Well, he's been saying that the supporters, in fact, be encouraging them to go for more slot as far as the election of assembly members are concerned. So they will also have a lot of their members within the various district assembly. So, executing government duties or agenda will be very, very easy for them. So this is what he has been saying.
I know that he's ended his tour, thank you tour of the Ashanti region. In brief, how will you describe the response so far?
Well, it has been very, very receptive. Areas that he visited, the mission, from his perspective, was to reinforce the NDC's, kind of gaining more grounds as far as those areas are concerned. If you look at how the people receive him, well, you see that it's been something you are actually looking out for.
Thank you very much, William Evans Income. And William Evans Income is our lead Ashanti regional correspondent. That's it for the Midday News here on Shri FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to shrinews.com for more news.